On a Lunar New Year night in 2006, Mr. Han Kui, the chief of the police station in Yu Zhong District, Chongqing, received a mysterious call. The caller demanded he arrive at the Great World nightclub within 10 minutes. For being a few minutes late, Chief Yu was punished, forced to toast each person in the room, from the girls to the mob bosses present. Feeling humiliated and resentful, he couldn't hold back his tears and broke down right there. So, who could bring a public security officer to such a degrading point? None other than Wen Qiang, the former director of the Department of Justice and deputy director of public security in Chongqing. This scene, seemingly straight out of a gangster movie, was real and reflected the extent of the mafia's control in this foggy city. You're following the Wen Qiang case, the tale of the notorious mob boss and infamous womanizer in Chongqing, on Decoder Box. The untouchable power holder. Back then, Wen Qiang held all the power in Chongqing. When people spoke of him, they immediately thought of scandalous stories, cash hidden in fish ponds, affairs with famous actresses, rampant corruption, and much more. The image of a short, slightly overweight man with a square face, glasses, and a Louis Vuitton belt frequently came to mind. That very belt had a curious role in his love life, often coming off in front of beautiful actresses. As Wen Qiang was finally captured, the truth began to emerge. He confessed everything he had done with various actresses during his time of peak power. Every time a famous actress came to Chongqing to perform, he would find ways to coerce her into spending the night with him. If they refused, he didn't hesitate to buy private information about them, using it to threaten and force their compliance. One widely circulated story recounts how Wen Qiang once fiercely competed with a famous tycoon from Shaanxi to spend a night with Kim Hee-sun. In 2005, when the South Korean star's film, The Myth, premiered in China, the producer brought her to Chongqing for promotion. The event attracted numerous powerful figures, including Shaanxi's top tycoon, Li Xiaohui. He offered 2 million yuan, more than $280,000, for a dinner date with Kim Hee-sun. However, in the midst of negotiations, a group of men in black barged in, smashing things and loudly declaring that Wen Qiang had taken an interest in her, demanding everyone step aside. In the end, Wen Qiang shelled out a hefty 5 million yuan, over $700,000, for a night with Kim Hee-sun. The truth of this story is only known by those involved, but if Kim Hee-sun's story remains uncertain, Wen Qiang's romance with actress Ng Tao is far more concrete. Rumors circulated online that Wen Qiang was Ng Tao's benefactor, with an alleged contract outlining their arrangement. The night the rumor spread, Ng Tao's shining reputation crumbled, plunging her career into a serious crisis. Wen Qiang's scandals didn't end with these love affairs. He also used his power to control female officers under his authority. Over 15 years, he forbade Chen Guangming, the head of the Chongqing Police Department's economic team, from marrying. Coming from a family of law enforcement, Chen Guangming had served for 28 years. With notable achievements, she personally apprehended over 7,000 criminals, most involved in drug trafficking and abuse, earning the title of a heroine in anti-narcotics efforts. But her bright career shattered when she became entangled with Wen Qiang. After his arrest, she was investigated, admitted to their relationship, and was dismissed, forced into early retirement. Not stopping there, Wen Qiang even sent his subordinates to schools to scout for young, beautiful female students. At least 4 girls had their lives ruined at his hands, all of them still students. So, how could someone like Wen Qiang brazenly act with such impunity? Initially, he was a man with ambition, working diligently, but faced with the temptations of wealth and power, he gradually lost his way, becoming corrupt and eventually spiraling down an unescapable dark path, plummeting into self-destruction. The hero of Chongqing, light and shadow. Wen Qiang was born in January 1956 in Qinjia Township, District 8, to a humble family. His parents worked as laborers in a general store in town. With 7 children, 5 sons and 2 daughters, Wen Qiang was the second son, earning him the Underworld nickname, Wen's second brother. After middle school, he couldn't enlist in the military due to his height. To ease his family's financial burden, Wen Qiang joined a youth volunteer program in the countryside. It was during this period that he met and began dating Zhu Xiaowei. Enduring years of hardship, Wen Qiang studied diligently, hoping to improve his family's life. In 1977, when university entrance exams were reinstated, Wen Qiang passed the exam and was admitted to the Luzhou Police Academy. Upon graduation, he was assigned to the police secretary's office in District 8, marking the beginning of his career in law enforcement. Shortly after, he and Zhu Xiaowei registered their marriage. Due to financial difficulties, they had no wedding ceremony, and a year later, they welcomed their first son, Wen Jiahao. In his work, Wen Qiang was always meticulous and uncompromising in his fight against crime. This dedication earned him frequent promotions. Even though he rose quickly through the ranks, those around him didn't feel envious. They knew he risked his life to achieve those accomplishments. In 1980, when the nation launched a major anti-crime campaign, Wen Qiang became a core member of the District 8 police force due to his outstanding performance. Secretary Zhang Wenbin of the District Party Committee highly praised his strong work ethic and capabilities. By January 1984, Wen Qiang was promoted to Deputy Director of District 8's Public Security Department. He soon became a member of the District Party Committee and, just 6 months later, was appointed Deputy Secretary of the district's Political and Legal Committee. A year after that, he advanced to Deputy Secretary of the District Party Committee, achieving 3 major career leaps before the age of 30. Even after becoming Deputy Secretary, Wen Qiang continued to work tirelessly. In one incident involving a mine collapse, he personally went down into the mine to lead the rescue efforts, impressing city leaders and moving the local people. In 1988, when a Southwest Airlines plane crashed in the District 8 area, Wen Qiang led the police force to the scene, wading into cold, muddy fields to help rescue survivors. In 1992, at the age of 36, he was appointed Deputy Director of the Chongqing Public Security Bureau, overseeing criminal investigations. This was a major step, transitioning him from District 8 to a major city. Despite his position in Chongqing, he maintained his cautious and humble working style. According to local media reports, Wen Qiang led and solved numerous high-profile cases, earning commendations from the Ministry of Public Security on multiple occasions. In 1997, when Chongqing gained direct controlled municipality status, Wen Qiang also ascended to a managerial role within the city's administration. A major criminal case in 2000 propelled him to the peak of his career, cementing his reputation as a legend in the field. In 1991, a notorious armed criminal gang led by Zhang Jun emerged in China. Over nearly 15 years, his gang roamed widely, looting and spreading terror, causing numerous casualties. Initially, they targeted small shops, skillfully evading police pursuit. But by 1995, Zhang Jun began orchestrating gold store heists. In each robbery, if met with resistance, he didn't hesitate to open fire, killing without mercy. In 2000, Zhang Jun's gang ambushed an armored cash truck, unleashing a brutal massacre in Changde, Hunan, killing 7 and injuring 5. Police launched an intense investigation and discovered Zhang Jun was planning to visit Chongqing to see his mistress. Chongqing police quickly organized a plan to ambush him, with Wen Qiang personally leading the operation. On the night of September 19, 2000, Zhang Jun appeared discreetly in a deserted alley to meet his lover. They exchanged only a few words, and just as he received a travel bag in preparation for his escape, special police forces rushed in, Overpowering him, Wen Qiang stormed forward, pressed his foot down on Zhang's face, and called in, "Zhang Jun is caught. He's lying under my feet." This was a huge victory, as Zhang Jun had assassinated 28 people and injured dozens in Hunan and Hubei over several years. His capture made Wen Qiang's name resound across southwestern China, before Zhang Jun's arrest in August 2000. Another rising star in Chinese law enforcement, Wang Lijun, was gaining prominence in Tiling. In the northeast, he served as the public security director in Tiling and would be transferred to Chongqing 8 years later, becoming Wen Qiang's ultimate adversary in a life-or-death confrontation. However, at that time, Wen Qiang couldn't foresee what would happen 8 years down the road. For now, he was reveling in the pride and satisfaction of having brought down Zhang Jun. It's said that when Zhang Jun was apprehended, he cursed Wen Qiang, saying, "One day, you'll be just like me. You won't be able to resist temptation and will walk down this same path." Wen Qiang scoffed, dismissing it as nonsense. Yet no one could have predicted that the curse would come true. 15 years later, Wen Qiang would also fall into the hands of the law, ending his life in disgrace, much like Zhang Jun. The Power Alliance, Police, and the Underworld. In November 2000, Wen Qiang was promoted to an investigator in the Ministry of Supervision. By 2003, he held the position of Executive Deputy Director of the Chongqing Public Security Bureau and Deputy Party Secretary. His achievements and experience grew, but so did his recklessness. At that time, Chongqing was one of China's most notorious gangster cities. With the mafia's power expanding ever more, criminal groups overlapped and clashed, demanding that police increase their authority to maintain order. As the chief enforcer of law and order, Wen Qiang wielded complete control over Chongqing's police force. It was said that if you lived in Chongqing and didn't know of Wen Qiang, it meant you weren't prominent enough to belong to the city's underworld. Political power, status, fame, and wealth, everything lay in the palm of Wen Qiang's hand. Starting in 1992, when he became Deputy Director of the Chongqing Public Security Bureau, Wen Qiang began his ascent to the peak of his career. However, this also marked the beginning of his eventual downfall. Due to his frequent interactions with underworld figures for case investigations, he gradually grew close to many notorious gang leaders. In Chongqing, Wen Qiang held a dominant role in significant cases, even confidently appearing at parties hosted by the criminal elite. At the birthday party for the daughter of Wang Ping, a kingpin running underground casinos and loan shark operations in Chongqing, Wen showed up with a few police officers as bodyguards, drawing attention from local residents. Wang Ping was seen as the most powerful gambling tycoon in the region. In December 1996, Wang Ping and another crime lord, Wang Wunan, were involved in a major shootout resembling scenes from gangster movies. After the gunfight, police arrested several individuals, but Wang Ping escaped trouble thanks to Wen Qiang's protection. Later, in late 1999, another Chongqing gang boss, Wang Yunnan, opened an underground casino and invited Li Hong, the head of the police squad, to act as its enforcer. In 2000, during a raid on the casino, a staff member shot a police officer. Li Hong, tasked with investigating the incident, destroyed records and fabricated evidence to protect his own interests. Li Hong was one of Wen Qiang's trusted associates, someone he had personally trained and promoted. A prosecutor from the Chongqing City People's Procuratorate once stated that the survival and growth of criminal groups were largely due to police cover-ups. Not only in Chongqing but across China, crime surged alarmingly in 2000, with over 3.7 million reported cases, a 63% increase from 1999. This led the central government to launch a nationwide anti-crime campaign in 2001. During this campaign, Wang Ping became a top priority wanted figure. When asked about his connection to Wang Ping, Wen Qiang explained that Wang was a special individual whom he had trained, for the sake of investigation. Wang Ping later moved his family to the United States and wasn't extradited back to China until 2018. Among those Wen Qiang shielded, the most notable was Xie Kaiping, Chongqing's female crime boss and Wen's sister-in-law. Xie partnered with others to establish casinos and raise illegal funds. In November 2005, Xie faced legal trouble and was arrested. Fearing this incident would implicate him, Wen Qiang asked subordinates to handle the matter discreetly. After 5 months of detention, Xie Kaiping was ultimately released. From that point onward, Wen Qiang became increasingly entangled in a decadent lifestyle, indulging in drinking, gambling, and women, with gambling sums reaching tens of thousands of dollars per round. During his years of leading Chongqing's public security, crime in the city became more complex than ever. Gangsters operated openly, as if the city were lawless, while in return, criminal organizations spared no expense, lavishing money, women, and bribes to satisfy high-ranking police officials. A fated confrontation, Wang Lijun and Wen Qiang. In June 2008, Wang Lijun transferred from Liaoning Province to Chongqing, taking up the position of Deputy Director of Public Security. Just 1 month later, in July, Wen Qiang was appointed Director of the Chongqing Justice Bureau. Both men, once seen as heroes in the anti-corruption fight, now stepped into new positions of power. Immediately upon his arrival, Wang Lijun launched an intense anti-crime campaign, solving 3,277 criminal cases and arresting 9,512 people, filling jails to capacity. Meanwhile, Wen Qiang grew quieter, rarely appearing in the media, as rumors of his ties to the criminal underworld began to spread. On August 7, 2009, while attending a ministerial conference in Beijing, Wen Qiang was unexpectedly escorted back to Chongqing for investigation. It was said that Wang Lijun himself led the team to the airport to escort Wen directly from the plane to headquarters. On September 26th, Wen Qiang was officially arrested. During a search of his villa in the upscale Nan'an district, Chongqing, police discovered numerous extravagant items, including crystal chandeliers worth tens of thousands of dollars, a national-grade Buddha head sculpture, and other luxurious possessions that left the officers shaking their heads. The investigation, covering the years from 1996 to 2009, revealed that Wen Qiang and his wife, Zhu Xiaowei, had accepted over 16.2 million yuan, around $2.2 million in bribes. Notably, during the trial, a painting by artist Zhang District, gifted to one as a bribe and valued at 3.6 million yuan, was revealed to be a counterfeit. This reduced the total bribe sum from 16 million to 12.5 million yuan, around $1 million. Much of this money came from Wen Qiang's subordinates in law enforcement, including Han Kui, chief of Yu Zhong District Police, who, along with 2 others, bribed Wen Qiang with over 1.7 million yuan, around $230,000. Han Kui endured humiliation, hoping for a promotion, a vivid image of the twisted political landscape among Chinese officials at the time. On February 2, 2010, the Chongqing Higher People's Court held a public trial to prosecute Wen Qiang for charges of bribery, shielding criminal organizations, possession of unexplained wealth, and rape. Prosecutors presented an expense of 120,000 yuan, over $16,000, recorded as flower purchase, a euphemism for paying for sexual services. However, when argued, insisting that this amount was compensation after he assaulted a college student while intoxicated, not payment for prostitution as alleged. Wen Qiang's wife, Zhu Xiaowei, initially kept quiet, but when she discovered the extent of his affairs, she furiously called him a beast. In her anger, she led investigators to their villa, where they excavated a fish pond on the rooftop and uncovered more than 20 million yuan, around $2.8 million, hidden inside. The verdict and late remorse. Finally, on April 14th, 2010, Wen Qiang was sentenced to death for multiple crimes. He appealed, but the Chongqing Higher People's Court upheld the death sentence. On the morning of July 7th, 2010, Wen was executed by lethal injection. That afternoon, his son arrived to claim his body. Before his death, Wen Qiang had a final meeting with his sister and son. He expressed regret, sharing that due to his busy career, he barely spent time with his son, whose academic performance had suffered. After high school, Wen Qiang and Zhu Xiaowei had sent their son to study in Canada, but he returned after only 8 months, unable to adjust. The last gift Wen Qiang and Zhu gave him was an internet cafe worth 250,000 yuan, around $35,000 in 2008. However, after Wen's downfall, the cafe went bankrupt. Following Wen Qiang's fall, his successor, Wang Lijun, quickly demonstrated his authority by launching a shocking reform in Chongqing. During his tenure, Wang took action against over 5,600 police officers, with some being dismissed, others sentenced to hard labor, and many convicted. Virtually every rank within Chongqing's police force was overhauled, with more than 3,500 new appointments. This sweeping reform restored the honor, rights, and pay of over 900 officers, though several cases remain unsolved. Over time, the dramatic events in Chongqing gradually faded with the currents of the Yangtze River, but the pain remains for those who suffered injustice. So, what do you think about the life of a powerful yet notorious figure like Wen Qiang? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And before you leave, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to keep up with the latest iconic cases.